The best start to Fallout 3 consists of a balance of special skills, armors, weapons, and more. In this video, I will go through what I think are the best starting tips for Fallout 3 to make your time in the wasteland a lot more easier. Hi, I'm Mo and I'm trapped in Fallout. My very first tip is pretty much at the very beginning of the game. When you're still a child, you will be able to set your special points. So go ahead and open the special book. Once in this book, you will be able to set all your special points. Now, my first tip is do not set a single one of these points to a maximum of 10. Do not do this. There are a total of 20 bobbleheads in Fallout 3, 7 of which are actually purely dedicated to increasing one of your special points. So for example, there is a strength bobblehead, there is a perception bobblehead, there is one for endurance, and so on. When you get that said bobblehead, it will increase that special skill by a total of 1. So for example, if we have a strength of 9, when we get the strength bobblehead, it will increase it to 10. But if you set your special strength to 10, getting that bobblehead won't have an effect. So make sure you do not set a single one of these to 10. If that, at the most, make sure you set them to 9. Now with that said, you clearly can't set everything to 9. But my personal recommendation would be to set your strength to 9. This would allow you to carry the maximum possible. Go ahead and just reduce everything else for now. The next one that I would suggest you set to 9 is your charisma. Doing this will allow you to pass as many speech checks as you possibly can. The last one I will encourage you to raise to a maximum of 9 is your intelligence. Doing this will allow you to get the most number of skill points possible per level up until a certain point, but we will talk about that as the video progresses. With the remaining skill points, it's pretty much up to you really. It doesn't really matter from the point of a best start. You can set your perception, that will make it easier to see things, or you can increase your endurance, that will allow you to take a little bit more hits. You can increase your agility for a little bit more of being able to shoot with guns, or you can increase your luck for better critical chances and to find better loot. It's really up to you. What I would do is just go ahead and increase the remaining to something like looks a little bit like this, so it's a little bit more of a balance. My next tip is just before you take the GOAT exam. Before you actually go and take the GOAT exam, make sure that you grab this medicine bobblehead. There are a number of bobbleheads in the game, some of which you can go and grab pretty much whenever you want, but there are a few that you cannot grab. If you miss them, then you've missed them, you will not be able to get them. So make sure you grab the medicine bobblehead. With that, go ahead and make your way towards the GOAT exam. But before you take the GOAT exam, go ahead and speak to Butch.
Yeah? What do you want?
Select the first option.
None of your business. If you mess...
And this time you will be presented with a speech challenge. If you pass this challenge, you will be rewarded with some good karma points.
Maybe you're right.
And with that, go ahead and take the GOAT exam. Now to have a speedy GOAT exam, just go ahead and speak to Mr. Broch. And then go ahead and select the third option. Come on, I don't really have to take the test. And then select the first option that you will just fill in the results yourself. And from here you can tag 3 skills. Now when you tag a skill, basically it increases that skill point by a total of 15 points. Now the skills you want to tag are lockpick, repair, and science. Lockpick will allow you to pretty much unlock doors and containers. Repair will allow you to repair your gear, your weapons, your armors, and so on. Science will allow you to unlock terminals. Now pretty much everything in the game is more or less accessible, but there are times where you will find that these particular accessible points are hidden behind locked doors or locked terminals. So a priority for you is to get your lockpick and your science skill up to all the way to 100, pretty much allowing you to go pretty much almost anywhere in the game, with the exception of places that are locked with keys. But that is a different story. With that, go ahead and exit the GOAT exam and we should be done with this. My next tip is the moment when you are asked to basically escape the vault. Now when this happens, basically grab everything that you see, including this bat here. And go ahead and open this first aid and make sure you take the 10 stim packs. What you want to do is actually equip the bat as your main weapon. Now whilst inside the vault, there really aren't any enemies in here that can do any significant harm to you, even with your vault gear armor on. So what you want to do is just use your bat and conserve your ammo as much as possible. Now when you exit the room, just go right. You can quite happily ignore this person because he will be hounded by a number of rad roaches. Go down and eventually you will be stopped by Butch, who will ask you for your help.
You gotta help me! My mom...
Just say, come on, let's go and help your mum.
No, I can't.
And then say, don't worry, that you will help instead. Now go ahead, follow Butch, and then go into this room, take out the bat, and take out these roaches. And with that, go ahead and speak to Butch.
We did it! My mom's... Hey!
And with that, he will reward you with his Tunnel Snake's jacket. Now the reason we got the jacket is because when you equip it, it will increase your melee damage. So the fact that you're using your bat and now have this Tunnel Snake's jacket basically means that you've now increased the amount of damage that you will do. Now again, as already mentioned, as you sort of make your way out the tunnel, make sure that you grab as many things as you possibly can. Anything you see, just go ahead and grab it. And just use your bat to pummel anything that decides to attack you. Now as you sort of approach this admin area, you will eventually see Amata and her father sort of having a bit of a dash out. What you want to do is just basically avoid them by sneaking here and just sort of going past, or you can just sort of ignore them altogether and just run away. The whole reason we're doing this is we're not going to confront Amata or her father, and we will sort of visit them later on during the game when we have to revisit the vault during a Trouble on the Homefront quest. So again, as mentioned, just basically take anything out in front of you with the exception of Amata and the Overseer, and just so that you can sort of grab everything. Now with that, go ahead into the Overseer's office. It will be locked. And once inside, go ahead and access this terminal. Again, this should just be a very easy terminal. And once you've done that, just open the Overseer's tunnel. And with that, just go ahead and exit the vault as you normally would. Now, as soon as you exit the vault, you will see your first time what the wasteland looks like. Now, when this happens, you should at this point in time gain enough experience to level up. So we will wait for the level up screen to appear. Now once you level up, because you had an intelligence of 9, you should have 19 skill points that you can assign. What I would suggest is you take your explosive skills all the way up to 25, and this will become important when we visit Megaton. You can put your remaining points in lockpick, as we will need that also. Now go ahead and press continue. Once you get to the perks page, you have a couple of options. I would suggest you go with the Little League perk. By going with this, what this will do is increase your melee as well as your explosives by a point of 5. So if you selected the Little League perk, if you now go back to the skill points page, then you can now remove 5 points from explosives and put them all into lockpick. Again, this will become helpful later when we should be able to take lockpick all the way up to 50 skill points. With that, you should now have an explosives of 25, a lockpick of 38, and you've selected the Little League perk. Now, after leaving Vault 101, instead of going straight to Megaton, what we're going to do is head towards the left. So we're going to head north down this road and visit Springvale. Now, Springvale actually has a couple of really cool things that we can take, which will really help us along the way. The first thing I would suggest is as you enter this small town, look in this mailbox right over here. And inside here, you should find a couple of stock items, specifically some grenades, some jet, and some psycho. Once you've done that, just go straight, and if you now look to your left, you should see this sort of broken down building, and if you go in here, you should find a safe. Now the loot inside this safe is pretty random. It could be anything. Go ahead and unlock it, and once you've done that, again, this is all going to be very random. At times I've found a scope magnum, at times I've found a sniper rifle, but whatever the case, you should have some decent items. Just go ahead and take them. And once you've done that, from here, if you look to your north, you should see a small building. What you want to do is go ahead and go inside this building. There will be an NPC inside this building who will have a speech check. If you can pass that speech check, you will get a couple of good caps from her. So go ahead and go inside. Now once inside, you will be approached by an NPC called Silver.
Who the hell are you?
Go ahead and select the first option, who's Moriarty.
Colin Moriarty. That's second.
And from here, you should see a speech challenge that will have a success rate of 35%. Now again, this will be a lot lower if your charisma wasn't as high as it is, so try to pass it. Now if you don't pass it, you can just go ahead and just load the autosave that was generated as a result of coming into the house. So just go ahead and select this option.
I'm tired of hiding out here like...
And with that, she will reward you with 400 caps. Once done, just go ahead and exit the building. Now from here, what we want to do is head towards Megaton. Now again, Megaton should be right over there. You should be able to see it on the horizon if you were to look back south. But instead of going to Megaton, we're actually going to go and visit a secret weapon cache location right behind Megaton. So slowly make your way towards Megaton, and once we actually are at the entrance of Megaton, again, instead of going into Megaton, we're going to sort of hug the wall on the right hand side of Megaton, follow it all the way to the very end, where we will be able to get a very secret weapon cache location. So with that said, now that I am at the entrance, so it should now slowly sort of start to open up. What we're going to do is ignore that and just go down this side of Megaton. Now as we're doing that, we will encounter a couple of enemies. Again, they will be very low level enemies that you should be able to take out with your bat. So if they do approach you, just take your bat out and swing away. You will be approached by mole rats and possibly a dog as well. So there should be a mole rat right here on the right. There we go. So again, let's take this bad boy out. And with that, you should have another two over there. Now, right next to the mole rat, you should see a rock. But we'll get to that in a moment. Let's take these guys out. And that's that. Now, the reason we came here is this rock over here. So if you look at this rock, you should see that it's sort of surrounded by three small trees. Now, if you go and approach this rock, you will notice that it's a hollowed out rock. If you open the rock up, then you will find inside a sniper rifle, one stealth boy, and another 2 steam packs. So go ahead and take the whole lot. And with that, you should now have some decent chems to help you out. You should have definitely some caps by now. You should have a good starting point with some special skill points, and you should have a relatively good weapon. So with that, we will now go into Megaton. So basically just go all the way back to the entrance of Megaton and just go inside. Now once inside Megaton, you will be approached by Lucas Sims.
Name's Lucas Sims. I don't know what.
It's in your interest to be nice because this will result in you getting a house. So just go ahead and say this is a nice town.
Friendly.
And then say right message received.
I'm glad.
And then select this third option about discussing about this bomb.
What about?
Go ahead and select this first option about disarming the bomb.
I don't trust any. And hell, why?
And select the first option about disarming the bomb.
Oh, all right. If you get the job done, there'll be 100 caps.
Now what he will say is that he will do the job for you for 100 caps. Now if you can pass this speech challenge, then he will instead give you 500 caps.
That's pretty steep.
And with that, go ahead and exit the dialogue by saying I have to go now. What you want to do is go straight down, and right in front of you, in that sort of pool-like area, you will find a bomb. Now this is where your explosive skills will come in handy. Because you have an explosive skill of 25, you will be able to disarm the bomb. Now from here, you actually have two options. You can either disarm the bomb, in which case this will result in you getting a house in Megaton, or you can rig the bomb to explode, which will allow you to get a house in Tenpenny Tower. Now for the sake of making this as a best start as possible, I would suggest you actually disarm the bomb and take the house in Megaton over the house in Tenpenny Tower. The reason being, there are other exploits you can use to your disadvantage to get a house in Megaton alongside a lot of other house items completely for free. So go ahead and disarm the bomb. And once you do that, we will now go back and speak to Lucas Sims.
I'll be damned. Here's your reward. It ain't much to look at.
And with that, go ahead and exit the dialog box. Now when you do this, there's a pretty high likelihood that this will now cause you to level up by disarming the bomb. So after exiting the dialogue with Lucas Sims, let's take a look at our skill points. Now from here, I would suggest that you take a lockpick skill all the way up to 50. So if you've noticed, you're at level 3 and you already have your lockpick at a skill point of 50. This will allow you to unlock a number of locked containers in the game. With your remaining 7 points, it's really up to you what you want to put it in. I would suggest that you go with repair, allowing you to repair your gear a little bit more easily. Alternatively, you can put all your points into science instead, which will take it up all the way to 44. If you now go to the perk screen, on this screen, if you now select the Daddy's Boys perk, if you now go back, you will notice that your science is now at 49. So again, at level 3, you have a lockpick of 50 and you have a science of 49, making it pretty much close enough to each other and again giving you access. At some point, you will be able to take your science all the way up to 100, but at your next level up, you can take it up to 50 anyway. So with that, just go ahead and exit the perks screen as well as the skill points screen. Now, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and exit and enter the house that Lucas Sims just gave us the key to. To go to your house, just follow this path over here. And as you do that, you should find that this is your Megaton home. Now, the house isn't very much to look at. It's at the moment very empty. You have a refrigerator, you have various other containers, you have a stand for your bobbleheads, as well as a bed upstairs right over here. But the most important thing that you have at this very moment is Wadsworth. If you now speak to Wadsworth,
allow me to introduce I am
you can select this option, I'd like something to drink, multiple times.
certainly, sir.
And each time you select it, he will give you some purified water. This is basically an alternative to Stimpaks that heals your HP, but you don't take any radiation damage. As said, you can select this multiple times and he will give you a number of water. So just go ahead and select this as many times as you can, up until the point where he isn't able to give you any more.
Certainly. Sir. I'm sorry, sir.
And with that, he won't be able to give you any more. Go ahead and exit the dialogue. Now that we have a house in Megaton, what we're going to do is get a couple of things for this house, again, completely for free. So go ahead and exit your house. And from here, go ahead, go down, and we're going to go to the Crater Site Supply, which is a shop right up there. So again, just follow this path. And once we get to the shop, we're actually going to get a few items. So go ahead and go inside the Crater Site Supply. Now once inside, we will do two things. We will first talk to Moira and she will ask us about what life is like inside the vault. We'll select any options and as a result she will give us an armored vault suit. After that, we will check her inventory to see some of the house items that she sells, such as an infirmary and a workbench. So anyway, with that, go ahead and speak to Moira.
Hey, I hear you.
Go ahead and select the first option.
Great.
And then select the option that is like paradise down there.
A runaway deck. Good luck, fun. That'll be...
And with that, she will give you an armored jumpsuit. Now with that, she will also ask you about a book she's working on. For the moment, we're going to say not interested.
Well, okay.
Now before we actually exit, go ahead and select this option. Let me see what you have for sale. And then go into the miscellaneous option and then scroll down up until the point where you see sort of house items. So here you can see that she's selling an infirmary, a laboratory, a Nuka-Cola machine and more. But you can see that they actually cost a fair amount. We are going to get all of these items completely for free. So what you want to do is exit the dialogue. And before leaving the shop, what you want to do is sort of go into this area here. And you want to crouch down right in front of this railing. The reason we're going to do that is right behind here is a hidden container. And within those hidden containers are all the house items that you can just basically steal for nothing. Now, if I crouch here right now, I will be detected because she can see me from over here. So what we can do to get rid of that problem is to just basically walk up to her and then just sort of push her out of the way. So once you sort of push her out of the way, if you now go back, you will notice that if you now sneak in front of her, then you will be hidden. Now, whilst hidden, what you want to do is go into third person. And what you want to do is sort of slowly shake the camera about in third person. And eventually you should pick up this hidden locker container. So this will be a little bit fiddly. But if you can do it just about right, eventually you will see this hidden container. Just like that. So go ahead and open this hidden container. But again, make sure that you're hidden before you do that. And with that, you'll be able to take all of these house items completely for free. Now, you will lose a little bit of karma, but that doesn't matter. That's why we spoke to Butch at the very beginning of the game in the vault. So the good points from that instance has sort of balanced out the bad karma points from here. Again, before leaving the actual shop, just go into your inventory, go into apparel, and make sure you're wearing the vault armor, as well as the armored suit you got from her. And with that, you should now have a vault armored suit, a helmet, and a bat. Now what we will do is go back into our house, and we're going to go back into the house just to sort of check up on the gear, just to make sure that all the items are there. So if you recall, we would have had to purchase them from her for a significant amount of cap, But here we don't need to do that anymore because we just got them all completely for free. And this is why at the beginning when we were disarming the bomb, I suggested that you go with this house over the one in Tenpenny Tower, simply because it's a lot more easier to access, and by having this house you also have a number of different stores that you can access, whereas in Tenpenny Tower, although the house in Tenpenny Tower definitely looks nicer, you don't have as many places that you can access. With that, go inside. And now once inside, you will now notice that you have a workbench, and if you go upstairs, you have a Nuka-Cola machine from where you can get effectively sources of healing items. You have a medical station where you can sort of heal yourself, heal any radiation damage, and so on. And you also have this laboratory where you can ask to create experiments that result in random chems every day. Now, another thing we will do whilst in Megaton is actually go down and exit our house. And within Megaton, there's actually a strength bobblehead. So if you remember, we actually set our strength to a maximum of 9. The bobblehead for the strength skill is actually within Megaton. So we can now get this bobblehead and take our strength all the way up to 10. Now Lucas Sim's house is over there, but you can't actually go inside because it's locked. But there is a sneaky way we can do it. What you can do is you can grab this barrel over here, pick it up, and basically walk backwards up until you sort of go up this railing. And once you're sort of at the very top, what you want to do is slowly move around and try and position the barrel right there under that sort of roof. So the reason we're doing this is simply because what we're going to do is use the barrel to jump up onto that roof. So position the barrel as best you can. And right here, it might be worthwhile saving, so I'll do that really quickly. And what you want to do is jump on the railing here, and then on top of the barrel, and then onto the roof. Just like that. And as you do that, you will see a hatch. Now make sure that you go into hidden mode. And from that, you can go inside the hatch. And from here, just go into this room over here. And from here, you will find the strength bobblehead. And with that, your strength should now be at 10. Once you've taken it, just go back out through the same hatch on the roof. And this way, you've made sure that you've been also undetected. The next thing I suggest you do is actually go and get the Intelligence Bobblehead. So at this point in time, you're only at level 3, so you have a significant number more levels to go. What we want to do is grab the Intelligence Bobblehead. Now the Intelligence Bobblehead is actually found here in Rivet City, and luckily we don't really need to do anything to get into it. Once we are actually at Rivet City, we can just sort of go in. But it is located at the very bottom right of the map. The easiest way to get there is to exit Megaton, go straight right as you exit Megaton into this river, and then follow the river all the way down until we get to what looks like an embankment. From the embankment, we're going to get back on land and then travel east until we get to Rivet City. So again, once you actually exit Megaton, from here, just head east and try to go as straight as you can. Now, I'm probably just going to sort of hug the wall this way and just go, again, as I said, as east as possible. The reason I'm saying go as east as possible is simply because you'll actually end up at the river a lot more quicker. Now, fortunately, on this side of the map, there really aren't any strong enemies. So even if you do encounter any enemies, they won't really be strong enough to take you out. So it really won't be a problem. So from here, you should be actually able to see the river already. So I don't know if you can make it out, but the river is sort of just there. So what I will do is just skip to the portion of the video where I'm just about to go into the river. But for the most part, I'm just going straight. Now, if you do get enemies like this, again, if you can outrun them, just go ahead and outrun them. Any damage they do won't be significant anyway. But if you rather kill them to make your journey a little bit more pleasant, you can do that also. So like I said, I'm just going to skip ahead until you get to the river, which will be just over there under the bridge. So now this is me just sort of passing straight under the bridge here. And from here, I'm pretty much more or less right next to the river. So again, I'm just going to carry on. I am still probably being chased by enemies. But again, at this point in the game, they aren't really strong enough to cause me any damage. They might get a hit or two on you, but again, shouldn't be significant to the point where you would actually end up dying. Now, once you're at the river, like I said, we will now need to sort of follow it all the way south. So once you're at the river, again, follow it south. Now notice that we're in the river and we're taking radiation damage, but again, this shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem because if you recall, we got that medical station in our house. So once we've actually got the bobblehead, we can simply just fast travel back to our house and heal any radiation damage. So we don't even need to use up any sort of items to heal our radiation damage. So with that, what I'm going to do is just skip to the portion of the video where I am just about to get onto the embankment. So what should have happened is if you follow the river all the way south, eventually you would end up at this portion of the river over here, where you can sort of see this large dome-like structure over there. Now I won't spoil what's inside, but basically this is sort of your checkpoint. If you see this dome-like structure, then this is the embankment that you want to go up. Now once you go up this embankment, this is a rather dangerous area. This area is filled with super mutants, and they, given that you're at level 3, can take you out relatively quite easily. Now to avoid actually taking too much damage, what you want to do is go up this pathway and then up these stairs, and by going up these stairs you will avoid most of the mutants that are on your right hand side, who are sort of patrolling the platforms way over there next to that building over there. Now when you get here, from here however you cannot carry on straight. If you look straight ahead you will see the sort of railing and spikes. This is a super mutant occupied area. So if you go through here, you will most certainly actually die. So don't go through here. What you want to do is sort of go down this way and just sort of hug this wall here, this river here. Now as you're doing that, there will be a couple of super mutants right there patrolling, and they will probably spot you. Chances are they may not. So if they may not, you're pretty lucky. You can carry on. But as you sort of make it through this way, there is a high probability that a mutant on your left hand will spot you. There's usually one right on guard. In fact, there he is, right on cue. Now, again, because you're far away, there are not chances that you will take some hit. But again, at this distance, it won't be significant enough for you to actually take a lot of damage. So with that, carry on. Now, once you actually approach Rivet City, you would have discovered a few locations by now also, and that will give you the ability to fast travel. So go ahead and approach Rivet City, and with that you should be able to also have the option to fast travel. In fact, there's the message on queue also. And now what you want to do is just head up, and as you do that there will be another stair railing. Just keep on heading up, and if you're worried about the fact that you actually got some negative karma, you can find this gentleman over here. Just give him a bottle of purified water that you got from Wadsworth. And then select the option I insist, my friend. And with that you would have gained some good karma. Again, balancing out the bad karma you got by stealing from Moira. Now to actually enter Rivet City, just go ahead and select this intercom.
Welcome to Rivet City.
And with that they will quite happily extend the bridge for you. So we're going to wait for the bridge to be fully extended, and then we will be able to go to Rivet City. Now as this is happening, once we actually get to the entrance of Rivet City, we will be approached by that guard on duty over there, and what he will do is simply tell you why you're here. Just tell him that you're sort of visiting.
Hold it right there. Stage.
Go ahead and select the third option, that you're just wandering around.
You.
And then say thanks for your help. And with that, you will be able to enter the city as if you're no threat to anyone. Now, when you're actually at this place, go through the door on your left. Now, once you do that, go through this hatch on your left again. And from here, just go all the way straight until you see this motorcycle. From here, go right, and then take the first left. What we're basically going to do is go into the science lab. Once inside the lab, just go straight down. And then if you sort of look to your right, you will see a table, and on top of this table you will see the Intelligence Bobblehead. Your intelligence should now be at a level of 10. So with that, go ahead and exit the city. So basically just backtrace the way you came. So again, from here we would go right, and then this time we'll take the first left. And we're just going to, as said, just exit Rivet City. And from here, just travel back to Megaton, and then go back into your house. And what we will do is we will use the medical unit that we stole to heal our radiation damage. So just go ahead, back into this place, and just say, remove all rads. And with that, all the radiation damage you took by going to the river has now been nullified. Given where we are in the guide now, you've actually done a lot. You have got a relatively good set of armors, your strength and intelligence are both at level 10, so this is a pretty good start. Now there are two more things that I would suggest you do before you sort of carry on with the main quest line. The first is to come back to the crater site supply and to speak to Moira.
Hey, don't mind the smell.
And this time to go with this option, what's this book you're working on. By doing this, you will effectively go on this really long journey where you will complete her adventures guidebook that will take you to a number of places around the wasteland, all of which have really good experience and really good gear. But the fact that you've done everything up to this point in the guide means you're pretty solid and you should be able to do most of it pretty easily. So I would suggest that at this point you complete the survival guide that Moira will give you. The other quest that I would suggest you do, instead of doing the survival guide and perhaps doing that second, is to go and speak to Walter. So Walter is found at this building over there, the water processing building. So from the crater site supply shop, just basically go up. So this is basically right next to Lucas Sim's house. Just go ahead and go inside. And from here, you will find Walter.
What do you need?
Select the help around here option.
Well, it's no... Now,
And then ask him how many leaks there are.
from the pressure in the plant, check along the pipe.
And then say, I'll keep it in mind.
I hope you can help.
And then go ahead and select the I have to go now option. So this is a somewhat hidden quest in the sense that it is an unmarked quest. What Walter has asked you to do is to go and fix 3 leaks that are all around Megaton, and I'll show you exactly where they are. So the first one is right here, so it's right in front of the crater site supply shop. From here, just jump over the fence, and it should be right here, and you should just be able to fix that. Now the reason you're able to fix it is because of your repair skill. Because we tagged our repair skill is high enough to be able to allow us to fix it. So this was the first one. The second one is, so if you just sort of jump down from here, the second one is right here, so it is sort of southeast of the bomb. So if you go up that staircase, you should be able to see it right along this pipe on the right hand side. So just go ahead and fix this one as well. And with that, you should have now fixed 2 of the 3. The last one is probably one that you've probably already spotted. It was on the path to your house right from the entrance of Megaton. So if you go down this path, and then if you were to look from here, you should be able to sort of see it just there. Go ahead and fix this one as well. And with that, go back up to the water processing plant building, and you will either find Walter standing right outside the building, or he should probably be inside given the time of day. So in my instance, he's right outside. Just go ahead and speak to him.
What do you need?
And then tell him that the pipes are all fixed.
Well, but listen, it's only a... I'll give you caps for any scrap metal you can bring me.
And then say it sounds good to me.
Good.
Now, by completing this quest, what we've effectively done is anytime we bring scrap metal to Walter, and believe me, there is a lot of scrap metal out there in the wasteland, he will give you caps for it. But he will also give you XP. So the fact that we did this quest right after getting the Intelligence Bobblehead means every time we give him scrap metal, we will get an potentially crazy amount of XP depending on how much scrap metal you get. Now, you can also further exploit this by following my Infinite XP guide that I will link in the description of this video. Now with that, you can now go back to Moira and complete the survival guide that she will give you. And with that, you should now have a character that has an intelligence of 10, meaning that every time you level up, you will get the maximum skill points possible without any other additional perks to boost it. You should also have a strength of 10 also, which means you will be able to carry the maximum amount of gear that you can, again without any additional buffs. You should also have a home, which will be fully kitted out. This means that you have all the relevant items to heal yourself of all types of damage, as well as a Nuka-Cola machine that will pretty much give you some healing items completely for free, and the ability to create random chems. You should also have some dedicated weapons such as the sniper rifle and any other good early armors that you've picked up along the way. And you should also have plenty of caps and plenty of steam packs, given if you sort of follow this guide. Now, given everything that I've said, there are still further more things that you can do to even enhance your character and take advantage of what I call exploits and glitches in the game. Click on my Fallout 3 glitches playlist that you see on the screen now to learn more about how to get infinite XP, infinite caps, infinite stimpaks, and a lot of other gear, including gear where the HP practically never runs out.